The history of the Australian 20-cent coin from 1967 is a fascinating part of the nation's transition to decimal currency. The 20-cent coin was first introduced in 1966 when Australia changed its monetary system from pounds, shillings, and pence to dollars and cents. The 1967 20-cent coin was part of the second year of this new decimal currency system and played an important role in establishing confidence in the new money among Australians. The coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machine, which was used on Australian coins from 1966 to 1984. On the reverse side, the coin displays the famous platypus design created by Stuart Devlin, the goldsmith and jeweler who designed many of Australia's decimal coins. The platypus was chosen because it is one of the country's most iconic and unique native animals, representing Australia's natural beauty and distinct wildlife. The 1967 20-cent coin was struck in copper nickel, weighing 11.31 grams, with a diameter of 28.52 millimeters and a milled edge. It was produced at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra and also at the London Mint due to high demand for coins during the early years of decimalization. The 1967 mintage was around 58 million coins, which made it one of the more common early decimal issues. Although it was heavily circulated, many of the 1967 20-cent coins have now become collectible, especially those in uncirculated condition or proof sets. Coins with mint errors, such as off-center strikes or double stamping, are also sought after by collectors. The London Mint strikes can sometimes be identified by minor die variations which add interest to numismatists. The introduction of the 20-cent coin in the 1960s reflected Australia's modernization. The move from the old pound system to decimal currency on February 14, 1966, was one of the biggest financial changes in the country's history. The government launched massive public education campaigns to help people understand the new system, using jingles, posters, and educational materials. The 20-cent coin quickly became one of the most used denominations, replacing the florin, which had a similar value in the pre-decimal system. Throughout the late 1960s and into the 1970s, the 20-cent coin was a key part of daily life. It was used for everyday purchases, such as newspapers, milk, or tram fares. The durability of its copper-nickel composition meant that many of the original 1967 coins remained in circulation for decades before being withdrawn or lost to collectors. Over time, the design of the Australian 20-cent coin remained largely unchanged, preserving the classic platypus image which became an enduring symbol of Australian currency. However, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II has been updated several times, reflecting her aging through the years from the machine portrait to the later designs by Raphael Makhlouf, Ian Rank Broadley, and Jody Clark. The 1967 20-cent coin marks an important moment in Australia's economic and cultural identity. It represents the early phase of the nation's decimal journey and stands as a piece of everyday history held in the hands of millions of Australians. The coin's enduring design, the craftsmanship of Stuart Devlin, and its connection to the nation's shift to a modern monetary system all contribute to its lasting legacy. Today, the 1967 20-cent coin is cherished not only for its numismatic value, but also for its place in Australia's story. It reminds collectors and historians of a transformative era when Australia took a bold step into the modern age. The coin's simple yet elegant design continues to capture the essence of Australian heritage and remains one of the most recognized and beloved coins in the country's currency history. The 1967 Australian 20-cent coin holds a deeper story than just its design and release. It represents a time when Australia was embracing a new identity, one that looked forward to modernization, unity, and independence from older British traditions. The coin emerged during a transformative decade, the 1960s, when Australia was rapidly changing both socially and economically. In 1966, the Australian government introduced decimal currency, replacing the pound system that had been used since colonial times. This monumental change meant converting everything from banking and trade systems to everyday pricing and wages. The 20-cent coin replaced the florin, which was worth 2 shillings, or 1/10 of a pound. The new coin was equal in value to the old florin to help Australians adjust more easily. The government's slogan for decimal changeover was, "Decimal currency, it's easy as pie." The 1967 20-cent coin continued the rollout of decimal currency and served as a sign of the success of the transition. The Royal Australian Mint, which had only just opened in 1965 in Canberra, was still increasing its production capacity, so some of the 1967 coins were struck at the Royal Mint in London to meet demand. This collaboration reflected Australia's gradual shift toward economic independence while still maintaining strong ties with Britain. The coin's reverse design by Stuart Devlin became an instant icon. Devlin, who was later knighted for his contribution to art and design, was known as the Royal Goldsmith and Jeweler to the Queen. His work on the platypus design was praised for capturing the movement and grace of the animal in water. He wanted the coin to reflect Australia's distinct identity through its native wildlife. The platypus, a unique mammal that lays eggs and lives both in water and on land, perfectly symbolized the originality of the Australian continent. During the late 1960s, the 20-cent coin gained popularity for its usefulness in everyday transactions. It was large, durable, and easily recognizable. Its value was significant enough to be used for medium-sized purchases, but still common enough for daily use. People often carried several in their pockets, and cash registers across the country were filled with the distinctive sound of 20-cent pieces clinking together. By 1967, the decimal currency had stabilized, and the 20-cent coin became a familiar part of Australian life. However, production numbers remained high because the coin was heavily used. The government needed to ensure that all parts of the nation, from cities to remote areas, had enough coins for smooth transactions. From a numismatic perspective, the 1967 issue is known for a few interesting varieties. Some coins struck in London show subtle differences in the spacing and alignment of letters or in the details of the platypus design. Collectors have also found examples with die cracks, rim cud errors, and misstrikes, which are rare and valuable today. Proof versions of the coin were not widely available to the public at that time, but later collectors sought after pristine examples from mint sets. The coin's obverse, the Queen's portrait by Arnold Machine, represented continuity with tradition, while the reverse represented a new national spirit. This balance was intentional. Australia wanted to modernize its economy while maintaining its Commonwealth identity. The portrait itself is a youthful image of Queen Elizabeth II wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a symbol of dignity and grace. Over the decades following 1967, the 20-cent coin remained one of the most trusted denominations in Australian circulation. It survived inflation and remained in daily use even as smaller denominations, like the 1 and 2 cent coins, were withdrawn in the 1990s. The platypus design became a nostalgic reminder of Australia's post-war optimism and progress.